Studios in Brea, California, here is the Doyledin Podcast.
Welcome to the Doyledin Podcast. We're going to be talking about Superman, James Gunn Superman. Our initial thoughts on the film. I've seen it twice. My dad here's seen it once, as far as I know. We're going to see how it compares to the other Superman movies, whether or not it is a faithful take on the Superman character. But yeah, we're just going to give our general thoughts before we discuss the spoilers. I feel like if you're already here watching us, you have already seen the movie and probably just want to see what other people are saying. So we're not going to go too in depth of how we feel about the movie without getting into spoilers. But I'm gonna have my dad here take it away. What did you think of the movie without getting into spoilers? What did you think?
You know, here's the thing. All right. So I think if you're a comic book guy or girl and you grew up reading Superman stories and comic books, this is definitely going to be your type of movie, right? But I think if you're a Superman, the movie, Superman 2, Superman 3 kind of person like me, and didn't really pay attention to the comic books, I don't think you're going to get the most out of this movie.
Okay.
I'm trying to be
Okay.
nice here. I'm trying to be
Okay.
nice here.
Trying to.
Um,
Okay. Are you trying to
I
be
mean,
nice
yeah, there's a lot
because of how Superman made you feel? Or are you just trying to be
no, I'm trying to
nice?
be nice because it's Superman,
Okay. Okay.
you
Okay.
know? But, there was some really good elements, but then there was a lot of really like, fuck, it's the same kinda shit from Zack Snyder's Superman where it was just too much, and there was a lot of destruction that was unneeded. There was a lot. I mean, we can get into it all. I mean, you wanna start from
Yeah.
the top? I don't know
We'll,
how you wanna go about this, but
we'll get into it
I know you.
once we get into spoilers. But let me tell you how I felt about it, and then we can start getting into it. But
Yeah.
I absolutely love this movie. I had to see it twice, and I'm probably gonna see it tomorrow again for a third time. And that is just because this is what Superman should be about, not about, you know, whether or not, he's got enough power, if he's powerful enough. It's not about that. It's about, at the core of it, being a good person, being that Superman that you need to be. Emphasis on the man part as opposed to super in this film. And it is the Superman I feel is just a good representation of the comics that I've read of Superman. Um, I have
Yeah.
more experience, with Daniel Warren Johnson's take from the comic book series that he's been doing for Superman. I don't know if he's still on it. I've been out of the loop for a little bit, but it is. I don't know. I don't know. It's just perfect in my opinion. I think it is the best Superman movie that I've seen. That is my general opinion. Uh,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, and that's okay to be wrong. But, you know, I totally get what you're saying about, being a good person. That's who Superman is. He's always been that way, except for in Superman 3 when he, had that clash of personalities and
yeah,
all that good stuff. But in Superman 2, Superman 1, and in Superman 3, he was a good person. He didn't
yeah,
need 6 other people helping him out. When he was vulnerable, you felt like, "Oh shit, he's in trouble here. How's he gonna get out of this?" And they were creative enough to be able to not latch other superheroes onto him and help him get out of those situations as Superman, because he is Superman and he's very intelligent and he's very strong and he knows how to. But in this Superman especially, he was in jeopardy every single scene, and if it wasn't for these other superheroes, he was done. There's nothing super about that, There's help me understand it.
All right, all right, all right. We're gonna get into spoilers. We're gonna get into spoilers real quick, uh, for the majority of this video.
It's
But
been a week. There's no spoilers. Come on.
you've gotten our general opinions, so you've been warned. Now we're getting into the spoilers. Um, so your complaint of Superman, not being, in your opinion, Superman, and
Yeah.
but you look at all the events in this movie. The movie literally starts off with Superman, the aftermath of him getting the shit kicked out of him. And from then on, it's not about him worrying if he's good enough. It's not him worrying about if he's able to be Superman, which you would think with the way it starts the movie. But instead it goes on to where it's not about, you know, being powerful enough. It's not about being that Superman. It's about being Superman, where he is literally saving people. I feel like this is one of the Superman movies to where he's constantly saving people. You don't really see it in Man of Steel. You don't see it at that much in Superman 2. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because you're the professional, but you don't really see Superman saving people, not just people, but any life. He saves a squirrel in this. He saves, I think that's like the only animal he saves. But
Where was he when the cops were killing that squirrel in New York 2 years ago?
he was dealing with the,
Yeah,
he was dealing with the
no.
Baravian president or whatever.
I guess he didn't have five of his friends to help him out.
But I feel it's not like, yeah, he had to get saved by the Justice Gang or Lois, whatever, Crypto, whoever you want to say. He got saved by all the characters in this movie, but I feel like that is just a representation of um the the theme that he brings of just, it doesn't matter, just save this, just be there for people. Those people are saving Superman for a reason. Superman obviously represents such a great motto, or great, I don't know what you want to call it, but you know what I'm trying to say. He just represents, he is the man. He is the dude that you want to be saving you. Like, you look at Batman. I'd rather
Not
have
this
Superman. I'd rather have Superman save. What do you mean? There were no casualties on his watch in this movie.
Okay, that doesn't matter.
It does
Here's the thing.
matter.
There was no casualties in Superman 2. He saved that woman with her baby in the stroller on the ground. He saved Lois. He saved a bunch of people in Superman 2 and Superman 3.
Didn't
Okay, he saved the kid, the combine harvester, and all that.
didn't
But he
save.
needed other people for that.
He
He
didn't
didn't
save
need
the villains.
again. Who cares? They're villains.
That's not the point.
First Superman movie should have been a standalone movie. You're reintroducing this Superman. It's a new era. I get that you did some throwbacks with the interview with Lois, and there's other things like I love the aspect of telling the story of how people don't recognize him, the glasses. I get
The
that. That's
hypno
awesome.
glasses.
The hypno glasses. First time I've ever heard that in a movie. Maybe I missed it in others. I don't know, but I thought it was great.
Makes
That
sense.
was so much. I think that's the first time I've ever mentioned it, and that's like, okay, now that makes sense, right? But again, if he's Superman and you're introducing this character, and it's basically just a bunch of clowns from this rich Lex Luthor, who was just, in my opinion, a horrible actor. Terrible Lex Luthor.
This is gonna get heated.
Oh, it's gonna get heated.
It's gonna get
I
heated.
think he's awful, absolutely awful. And I don't know if it was the directing of him or what, but it was just, I never felt like he was such a bad dude. And I get in the comic books, he's not supposed to be just maniacal evil guy, but and he doesn't think of himself that way. But if we're going to go one way with this movie, then make it somewhat believable. I just didn't buy him at all as a. I mean, I bought him a bit of an asshole towards the end there, but they added too much comedy to it, where he's dropping stuff on the floor and telling people to pick it up, and then he drops more. And so it takes the seriousness out of it. And I think there's a little too much of that in the wrong places. And again, so much unnecessary destruction that just doesn't make sense for Superman. And there's too much, we have a saying in the wrestling business, less is more. And Superman 2 was a perfect example of less is more. And this was just an example of more was less.
Okay.
Have
Okay.
at it.
All right. All right. All right. So when you talk about Lex Luthor, you have Nicholas Holt, who we've seen him in the Menu, the X-Men rebooted, whatever the fuck you
I've
want
never
to call
seen
that
before.
universe. You've seen him in. I think he was in a movie called The New Order that came out the end of last year. That was an okay movie. He's in Nosferatu. He's been in a lot of stuff. He is people know his name if you see a lot of movies that are coming out. But I thought he did fantastic. I thought this
Oh,
is the closest, apart from the animated series Lex Luthor or any of the animated interpretations of Lex Luthor that we've seen in their DC animated movies. I feel like this Lex Luthor, played by Nicholas Holt, is one of the best live action Lex Luthors we've ever gotten. You talk about, you mentioned it was like the comedic moments. You look at Gene Hackman. You like, what do you talk about
but it made
those?
sense. They're in the perfect spots.
I don't
They're in the
know.
when you want to try and make this a serious holy shit kind of movie that you can see that they were going for, and then all of a sudden it's a comedic spot. It's like wrong place, wrong place. Again, I'm not saying you shouldn't have it. I just don't think it was in the right place. Again, it could have been the acting. I don't know. I just wasn't digging it at all. Definitely better than Kevin Spacey, that's for sure. Kevin Spacey was the shits. But
What about
can't beat
Jesse
Gene Hackman.
Eisenberg?
Yeah, he was terrible too. But he's got the same voice in every movie. He sounds exactly the same, acts exactly the same. Didn't adopt himself to Lex Luthor, you know.
Yeah.
And he's got this new movie out right now, with some, I forget what it is, but they do some trickery and magic and stuff like
Oh,
that
now
to.
you see me, now you don't, or something.
Is
That's
that
like
what
the
it
new
is?
movie. It's like Now You See Me 3 or some shit.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Because it's not the first one. That's right. And he sounds exactly the same monotone, same fucking crap. He is the shits. But nobody beats Gene Hackman. And
I
this
don't
guy
know. I don't know.
and crying. I mean, come
Oh,
on.
okay. Let's talk about
Give me
that.
a
Let's talk about
break.
that real quick.
Let's
So,
talk about it.
so, so at the end of the movie, he gets defeated by Superman. We're gonna be jumping around because
Absolutely.
it's
Because this movie
whatever.
was jumping around everywhere anyway.
Completely disagree. But so the movie ends. Superman gives him this speech of like, because the whole movie Lex refers to Clark as this alien, disgusting alien, all this like stuff, but like emphasis on the alien part. And it gets to the end where Clark's finally able to have a confrontation with Lex Luthor, to where emotions aren't really that much involved, but he is like, that's the part where you're wrong about me being an alien. I'm just as human as everybody else. I make mistakes. I love. Do all these things that everybody else on this planet do, and I go through that same thing. And then immediately Lex Luthor comes back and tries to, basically talk down to Clark even more. Which I thought this was a great scene, fantastic scene on both parts, Nicholas Holt and David Cornsweet. But then that's when the reports start coming in that Lex Luthor basically started this war to rule over the Junipar, whatever. I forgot what the fake countries that they came up with. I forgot the names that they were, but basically everything got revealed that Lex Luthor is an asshole, that he was gonna do all this shit, and the media now knows it, and him with the hatred that you see throughout the whole movie towards Superman that he has. And finally, Superman defeated him by the end of the movie. Him
Superman didn't
crying.
defeat him.
What do you mean?
It was like 6 different people that defeated him.
Defeated Lex Luthor?
Superman, yes, and Superman was one of the lesser ones. What's the other guy's name? The black dude?
Perry White?
He did more than, huh? No,
Oh,
the
Mr.
superhero.
Mr. Terrific. Mr. Terrific.
Mr. Terrific did more than Superman did.
All right, before we start, because I could talk for hours, or not hours, but I could talk a long time about Mr. Terrific in this movie. But
He
back,
was he
back,
was he was terrific, man. He was
yeah.
better than Superman in this
Well,
movie.
so Lex Luthor crying at the end of the movie, it's more along the lines of there is nobody he cares about more than Superman in a hateful way. There is nobody on planet Earth that pisses him off more than Superman. He says it in the movie, he says it multiple times, and
Right.
at this point, he is doing everything and anything to kill Superman because he just hates him. He's just a D1 hater. And seeing that there is nothing that he can do about all the stuff that's being surfaced about Superman literally standing in front of him being like, dude, there's nothing else, like, I took out all your goons that you sent after me. I saved the people of this city, which you didn't really give a shit about because you opened this pocket dimension rift. And him crying is just that just full of rage of that there's nothing he could do to let out all the rage he's feeling. And he's been able to send Ultraman, who is the clone of Superman that gets revealed in the movie. He's been able to send Ultraman, go beat the shit out of Superman. The engineer, go beat the shit out of Superman. They're all defeated, they're all out of the picture. Now what has he got? And I feel like that scene of him crying and that angered sadness that he has just is so effective. And there is no other Lex Luthor that we've seen in any of the Superman movies, live action Superman movies, that has conveyed that much emotion of being defeated, of being just like encapsulating that feeling of just being in a cage and that there's nothing you can do. And that's why I think, I don't know, that scene didn't bother me as much as it bothered you.
Yeah, no, I thought it was unnecessary. I thought it was made him look just as weak as he came off in his acting anyway throughout the whole movie. And honestly, again, it's not Superman defeating him. It's him and 4 or 5 other people, and Mr. Terrific just being the guy who was smarter than everybody else in this movie as far as the heroes go. And then all of a sudden
That's the
Lois knows
point.
how to fly.
Mr. Terrific is literally supposed to be one of the most smartest beings in the DC universe. So
Yeah, I mean he took it away from Superman. I mean it was terrible casting. It was terrible script writing, terrible filmmaking in my opinion.
All right.
And and Lois knows how to fly a goddamn spaceship all of a sudden. She's great. It's just so many things that were just like bleh, here you go. Here's Superman. And it's like, no, slow it down. Let's take our time here with this. And it was like all of a sudden, you got that clone, which oh shit, okay, he's got a clone now.
Yeah, I will say, how many times he got to clone Superman? and
I mean, if you're gonna do it though, let's do it correctly to where it's not just somebody in a hood for a whole fight scene and then it's unveiled to be him. You know,
I mean,
and then it's like, oh, I guess that's me. That's and it took me a second to realize it was a clone until they said it. It's like you shouldn't have to tell me. I should be able to go, oh, holy shit. That's how you make a movie. It's holy shit. I didn't realize it was him right away. But this should be something that they, at the beginning of the movie, are like, hey, we got a clone of this clown, and
but
we're
then
going
that
to.
takes away the moment of it being revealed that it's a clone.
The moment was shit. The moment was like, oh, okay. So now what? Now we got a bit of a fight going. Okay, but there was no build up to it. It's like, okay, all of a sudden you have, tonight's wrestling show and nothing's really, advertised for it. And then all of a sudden out comes Steve Austin and Bret Hart. Oh, okay. I wasn't ready for this. You have to be emotionally invested and emotionally ready for that kind of
But
thing.
how excited would you be once you hear the glass break that Stone Cold Steve Austin is coming out?
But there's got to be a story. There's got to be that's yes, but there's got to be a story. I'm excited to see Superman, but there's got to be a story.
So you
I mean,
didn't like the story in this movie.
no, the story was absolutely horrible. There was no at the end of the day, yes, Lex Luthor is trying to kill Superman. Get it. But why all these people? And why all these people helping Superman? Why does he need those people? Okay, because the starting scene, he was in trouble, so now that he's got backup, that's weak.
Well,
You got to play
so
into that. You got to play into
something
that.
with that was, yes, he got his ass kicked in the beginning, but that was the whole purpose of that. Like Lex had all those the combat maneuvers that Superman has been doing for the past 3 years, because he's only been Superman for 3 years in this universe. He's only been Superman for 3 years,
Right.
and um and yeah, and so he does get his ass kicked, but the Justice Gang is already established before, like it is disconnected from Superman. Like they even make a point in the movie that Superman's not even on the team because he's just not on the team for some reason. Um and I don't know, I just like it made the world feel lived in, because you look at all these other Superman movies in the past, and it's just Superman. It is just Superman. Sure, that is what the name of the movie is, but at the same
Right.
time, this is the DC universe. We should be seeing all these other characters get involved. You watch all these Marvel movies, and especially Daredevil Born Again. Haven't seen it, but I heard about what happens in it, and a blackout happens, and this is New York, but we only see Daredevil interact with this blackout that's going on, and people are being messed with. It doesn't make sense. This is a world that's lived in, a world that's already been established. Of There's Spider-Man, there's the Avengers, there's all these people in New York that can help this situation. But
Yeah, but if you're doing a Daredevil movie or a Superman movie, why can't you just have it standalone? Of course, it makes sense. You don't have to say, "Well, where are the rest of these characters?" Well, because they're not in this movie. It's the movie. It's a Superman
sure,
movie. You're just looking for Superman. If it's a Daredevil movie, I'm just looking for Daredevil.
I
Let,
don't
let
know.
him be the hero. Let him get all the glory and all the spotlight.
But the thing is that's just not how it is in the comics. And so, like, for me, because this is the most comic accurate Superman movie that I've ever seen.
And that's what I
Uh,
said at the beginning. I
yeah,
said, if you're a
yeah.
comic book guy, this is I'm sure this is exactly what you have grown up with and what you love and all that. For me, I'm a movie guy. I grew up with the movies only, and Man of Steel was so for the most part. It was definitely better than this
Uh,
until the whole battle with Zod and all that just destroyed the whole city. That was too much. Again, less is more.
that
They went the opposite route.
So I wanna talk about that. The unnecessary destruction that you said that happens in this movie. Um,
Yeah.
in the event of Man of Steel, because in the when we talked about Superman 2, I made the complaint about Man of Steel, how it ends with them just destroying the city and whatnot. Um, but in James Gunn's Superman, I think there was nothing that could have been done. When Superman's fighting Zod, Zod's only going after Superman. Superman's only going after Zod. All Superman has to do, fly up into space, and then keep flying away from Earth, and then they can finish their battle. But and then he breaks his neck at the end. Why not just have um, Superman take him out from the beginning? There's a level of humility in this Superman movie with James Gunn, where um, our Superman talks it out first, doesn't punch and then ask questions later, like similar to Man of Steel. Talks it out. Let's see. If I can't reason with you, I mean, he even tries to talk it out with the clone. Talks it out with the clone. Talks it out with the engineer. And even even Lex Luthor. And you see Man of Steel. just goes, fist first, and then, he's a bad guy. That's what happens to bad guys. But it doesn't add any substance to any of those characters if they're just, oh, they're a bad guy. That's it. No characterization like we see with Lex Luthor. The kind of the engineer, not so much the engineer. I feel like she was probably one of the weakest characters in this movie, along lines with the clone as well. Would have liked to see more from them, but back to the unnecessary destruction in James Gunn's Superman, we see them evacuate all these people in the city. There's nobody in the city. We see scenes of firemen, buses full of people getting evacuated out of the city. But from my memory, I don't remember that in Man of Steel at all. There were still people in that city that were,
Right.
going on. So
Yeah,
with
I
that
agree.
being said, you have a bunch of casualties. The city being destroyed. There's nothing Superman could have done. He doesn't have enough brains to stop a fucking pocket dimension rift. Even Mr. Terrific, the smartest person in the DC universe, had trouble stopping it because it's pocket dimension. Whatever bullshit science they want to give, and all these buildings, yeah, they're getting destroyed, but then we see them get fixed at the end because when we saw it,
Let's pull them all back together again. So retarded. I mean, come on.
when you saw it, you left out of the movies and you didn't stay for the very end credit scene. And the very end credit scene is Mr. Terrific and Superman standing next to each other, and Mr. Terrific, fixed it, brought the buildings back together, did the best he could to fix it, but it was a little offset. And Superman's like, well, it's not perfect. And then Mr. Terrific gets upset, and then Superman's like, wow, well, I guess I could be a jerk sometimes, and then it ends. And it was a nice little comedic moment, but I
Again,
don't
Mr.
know.
Terrific having to save everything.
I don't know. That's what Mr. Terrific does. He's Mr. Terrific.
And why do you need Superman? I mean, Jesus, at this point, just go back to Krypton.
You need
Or
Superman
find
because without Superman, all these characters would not be as much of the heroes that they are in this film.
He's
Super,
not even in their group. We already
but
established he's not even in their group, but they are great without him, and he's not
nah.
part of their group, so they're fine without Superman.
I mean, we could even see it in the scene where Superman comes back after confronting Lex Luthor about stealing crypto, because Lex Luthor broke into the Fortress of Solitude and kidnapped crypto and stole uh, all the files on Superman. Um, Superman then goes in, uh, interacts with Lex Luthor, and this is around the moment of where Superman, after that scene happens, he comes back to his little abode and starts turning on the TV. We see a little reference to Peacemaker, John Cena's little DC project, um, and again, making the world feel lived in. Another scene where it's like that's awesome. Like we just see all these characters that the DC universe with James Gunn. You know, he says that it's going to start with Superman, but I felt like it started with his Suicide Squad, and from then on, like I just feel like it has been the most lived in cinematic universe like that I've ever seen. Like we see all these characters in all these different projects, which I just think is fantastic. But anyways, um, you see in the background where Superman is just like lounging watching this TV, and you see the Justice Gang fighting this dimensional imp, is what Superman calls it. And if Superman was involved, he could have just flew the thing out into outer space. And mind you, 3 years he's been Superman, but from when the movie starts is the first time he has lost a battle. And I don't understand how Superman could be interesting if he just wins one battle like this, wins one battle like that, one battle like this.
You're not
When
supposed to.
when
No, nobody's saying that.
there's this whole movie, of Clark looking so what's the word? Um what's the word? Like exposed but
Vulnerable?
not vulnerable. Vulnerable is the word I'm looking for. Is so vulnerable, and it is the most relatable take on Superman ever. You look at Henry Cavill's Superman. I'm nothing like that guy. That guy's perfect, you know. But Superman, you haven't played. David Cornsweet did a fantastic job conveying that emotion, conveying what just a dude would be going through in this scenario. And with Superman, always having to be saved, it's not about whether Superman, you know, can do this on his own. It's about the hope that he conveys onto the whole planet Earth. And that's what made the Superman so good, in my opinion, was it especially when we go to Junipar or whatever that country conflict that Lex Luthor started. We see the kids holding up that Superman flag. See that, asking for Superman, asking for Superman. But those kids, those kids wouldn't have been saved if it weren't for Superman to instill the hope onto that, that little faction or country or whatever, for the Justice Gang to be like, you know what, Superman's right. We got to jump in and save these people, you know. And Justice Gang shows up, ends up saving the day in that area because Superman was dealing with the goons that Lex sent after him, and he dealt with those goons accordingly. He took out the engineer, he took out Ultraman or his clone, all by himself, mind you, and it was a collective effort to take down Lex because that's just Superman. He instills that hope into people of like, you know what? Yes, he's right. We should take down this dude. This dude is doing nasty things. We should worry about this thing. And without Superman, Lex would have just, had his own country already. He would have, been doing all these nefarious things. And I don't know. That's what that I just disagree with the whole Superman has to be saved in this movie as a
He
negative.
does.
Like I don't think that's bad.
Absolutely, it's a negative. His first movie back should have been a standalone, to where at the end of that first movie is where you hit credits, and then maybe you flash forward to a year from then, and that's when he comes crashing down into the snow, and it's like, holy shit, what just happened? And it ends. Going for Superman 2. You give him a standalone of Superman, just the first one, to where he battles, maybe it's Zod or, some one of Lex Luthor's cronies, maybe even, the engineer or Metallo, was it Metallo or
Metallo's is a Superman villain, yes, but he's
yeah,
not in this
you
movie.
know, right, no, I know,
Yeah.
but you could have done that in a movie, standalone movie, and introduce him and who he is as the DC universe Superman, and you go through that, him being vulnerable, barely winning, but he wins because he's Superman. And at the end of that, it's like, oh, here's a revenge from Lex Luthor on what the hell just happened. And now I can understand in the second movie. But again, even still with that, if this was a second movie, there's still too much going on. It was just still all over the place. It was still just way too much. It was like they wanted to get out so much. Like, we're creating Superman. It's the rebirth of one of the greatest superheroes ever. Bleh. Here you go. And I was like, fuck, come on. Too much.
Yeah. I
Too
mean,
much.
there is a lot going on in this movie, but I just feel like that's like you said, like that's just comics. That's just comics, you know? That's why I feel like this is the most comic
I
book.
can't read, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. But and then you said something that I wanted to. Oh, like how many movies or TV shows, TV episodes, whatever have we seen? It's just Superman. It's just or it's the origin of Superman, or it's the Superman versus Lex Luthor again, and it's just Superman versus Lex Luthor. We've already seen this movie. When you bring in those other characters, it just adds like I think it
Well,
just
no,
adds to that universe and to
I'm
that
not saying just Lex Luthor. I'm saying Lex Luthor brings in like the engineered. Lex Luthor brings in Magneto. Uh, you know,
Magneto.
whoever. Who's the other guy?
Metallo.
Metallo. And Lex Luthor brings in Zod and Ursa and Non, he's still the guy who's no matter what will always try and get Superman, but not by himself. He's the one that needs the help, not Superman. Superman should rarely ever need help. Maybe against Zod, Ursa, and Non. I get that. It's 3 against 1. Here we go. Now we got backup. Now we got, but to have to introduce all these villains in one movie, especially the very first movie, it's typical of Hollywood. Like, let's cram as much as we can in here so we can appeal to this person, that person, this person, that person, and get as much money as possible. We don't give a shit about the future of the franchise. We just give a shit about right now and making as much money as possible off just splurging on total chaos. Absolutely. If you look at the wrestling industry right now, this movie was, and I can tell you right now that fans of AEW love this shit because it was just total unimaginable, just garbage going on everywhere, and no rhyme or reason, just like an AEW show. And I swear to God, I've tried to stay as nice as possible about AEW. I've even wanted to go and work creative for them, but it's so bad. It's just so like the unnecessary shit that they do just for that rating of that day, and all these stupid little internet wrestling community nerds who love that crap, and now they're the same people who love this shit. And if you go back to Superman 2, Superman 1, Superman 2, you had a Superman that was vulnerable, was able to get through the chaos, was able to, they had more creative script writers, apparently, who didn't need to just go, hey, let's just throw it all in there and hopefully something sticks, you know? No, it was a creative storyline that appealed to the masses. That's why Superman is so big to this day. It's not because of Man of Steel. It's not because of anything done recently. And it's definitely not because of this movie. It's because of 1978, 1980, Superman, Superman 1, Superman 2. And because they were so well done and they painted him as such a great, great human being, even though he's not a human, but he comes across as a great human being that we would all hope and aspire to be, but also vulnerable, just like you and I are. But then he overcomes it, and he overcomes it by himself. And that's who people love to see, that shit, because nobody's coming to save you in real life. So if you want to be something, be that Superman. This Superman, nah, not for me.
Nobody's coming to save you in real life, but that's the problem. That is the problem, that this movie is like, nobody's coming to save you. But what if somebody does come to save you? What if we instill the hope that people come to save each other, that they look out for each other, you know? And I I read this on a thread. I don't remember the person who posted, whatever. But he was basically, he or she, I don't remember, but they were comparing that this movie to the evidence that was coming out about James Gunn, that he was, a little fishy dude, with the younger crowd. But essentially it was just that rhetoric was just based on um, the jokes that he made like a very long time ago, and they resurfaced somehow. Somebody like was digging in his Twitter account and found those like jokes that are, a bit controversial, I guess. And Disney completely fired him once those jokes resurfaced and everybody was talking about it. Disney fired him because he was working on Guardians of the Galaxy and all that stuff. And then I feel like Disney had that that thought of like, well, we don't know what to do with these characters. James Gunn probably knows what to do. So I guess we got to like apologize and be like, you know what, sorry, can you do the third Guardians of the Galaxy film and, end it. But at that point, before he got hired back with Marvel, Disney, Marvel, whatever, he got hired on by WB to do the whole DCU, because Zack Snyder's stuff was not making money. It was every movie was a flop. wasn't holding up to WB standards. And in this movie, you have Superman's message, because in the beginning of the movie we see Superman hearing the message from Jor-El and what's the mom's name? I always forget.
Laura.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's Laura.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember. But the message is like saying, "Oh, we're sending you to this planet because you're going to do great, and we love you, da 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 da." And then it cuts. It's like, "Oh, well, the message is broken, yada yada yada." And the message gets recovered by the engineer when Lex Luthor breaks into the Fortress of Solitude, and then the message gets released, and it's basically they were sending Clark or Kal-El to Earth to conquer the Earth to make sure Krypton lives on another planet and whatnot. Basically, the plot of the Viltrumites in Invincible, the TV show Invincible, but it's like, and then that gets posted out by Lex after the engineer, you know, gets into the Fortress of Solitude data chips or whatever, data crystals, and the public just starts immediately hating Superman after this one post and one video that gets posted. Even all the good he's done for the past 3 years, people automatically are like, Superman's an asshole. He's gonna try to take over the Earth, judging by this video. And people get this misinterpretation because of that video, just like people got the misinterpretation about James Gunn when those jokes surfaced. And then it's just him overcoming that hatred that he's getting from Lex Luthor, and then from some, American citizens, or and even the Junipar people, or I can't remember what the countries were, but I don't know. I feel like this is the movie that just overcomes hate the best, in the best way when it comes to a Superman movie. And yeah, I don't know. I just
I mean,
yeah. Dude, Lex Luthor in this movie is just such a hater. And he doesn't even explain it, which like makes it so much fun.
he's a bad guy. He's supposed to be, but
Yeah.
he just didn't deliver that well.
I
But overcoming
disagree.
hate I think, is such uh, a today term. Like, it's like using sequins in wrestling, and those internet wrestling community nerds. But he's supposed to be. You're supposed to overcome the bad guys. It's not just hate; it's overcoming the bad guys and all that. And you know, to have somebody in that position like Lex Luthor, and again, to not really introduce everything the way I think you should have, it's that's just how today's movies are, and I get it. All of the superhero movies that you see coming out, you know, the DC and the Marvel stuff, um, you know, that's how it is. I get it. It's a hodgepodge of throw everything in there and make a
Uh,
story out of it, and capitalize on as much revenue as we can, just in case we falls apart next time. That's how it comes across to me. But I know you
I
guys
don't
love it.
know.
I know you comic book people love it, and I get it. And again, it's subjective. So to those who love it, I'm not hating on you. This is just my opinion. I'm just, it's not my Superman. It's not my type of superhero movie that I would go, yeah, I got to see that again. For me, it's just, and maybe down the line when I watch it again, maybe okay, wasn't so bad. And again, it wasn't so bad. It was just certain elements that just got me like, oh, here we go again
What
with this
what
shit.
what elements were those? Was it certain plot points, or was it like, because I'm gonna be honest, there were some things I didn't jive with, which was the reveal of the full message from Jor-El, because it kind of just paints the Kal-El, or the House of El stuff, in just a bad light, and then
Yeah,
that's I
yeah.
I don't agree with that.
They should have wrapped that up by the end of the movie, going, oh, it was manipulated, because he's such a
Yes.
genius. He was able to, but yeah, they still make it look like, oh, so his parents are assholes. Okay.
See, like the
Uh,
only way they could wrap that up is it's the reason why they changed this symbol So I'm gonna be honest, I want that classic Superman S. Like I want that classic Superman S, and maybe in the next movie we see Superman, whether it's Superman 2, Justice League, or whatever, wherever we see Superman, um, and uh, I hope that the symbol is your traditional S because this is the House of L. He's just gonna be wearing the House of L of uh, uh, what a faction or whatever they're called. A house, I guess, a house that wanted Superman to go to Earth to conquer and have this, you know, fucking secret harem that I don't know why that was in the movie. That was a little weird about the secret harem stuff. I was like, that's a little awkward. But
Again, thrown too much in there. It didn't need to be in there.
yeah,
You know?
explain that to your kids. Um, and it was just kind of like you're missing like as long as you change the symbol in the next movie, I guess I don't have that big of an issue because that would make sense of why the symbol changed and that's why you see Superman going back to that traditional S or just going to that traditional S instead of whatever the symbol is now. But I don't think they're going to do that. I think he's going to just keep the costume the same. I mean, I think it's a cool costume, but I think it's a lot better than the Man of Steel costume, in my opinion. Um,
Yeah, I
and
love the traditional costume for
yeah,
sure, and the S, yeah, I mean, that's just his style, so, like, that's the James Gunn Superman, right? That's the
I
Zack
guess, yeah,
Snyder, they had their S, that's the Zack Snyder Superman, and that's the Donner Superman or whatever you wanna call it, but, I think it's more of a, you know, representation of the era, but, it means the same thing, which is hope, right, on the planet of
yeah,
Krypton, right? It doesn't mean Superman, right? And it did never address that, but that's okay. Um, but yeah, I mean, again, and the main elements were should have been a standalone Superman, and if not a standalone Superman, if there's going to be others involved, not so much.
yeah.
I mean, it really took away from Superman, in my opinion.
Well,
And
what were your thoughts on the Justice Gang? Like, just as a whole, what were your thoughts on them? Excluding, try to not think of them taking the spotlight from Superman, but just them as a whole. Like, what did you think about them?
I liked it. I thought they were good characters. I thought they were represented real well. I thought they did a great job. All three of those actors did awesome. Green Lantern, Mr. Fantastic,
Mr.
uh,
Terrific.
uh, and the girl, what was her name?
Hawk
Uh,
Girl.
Hawk Girl. I thought
Yeah.
they did awesome. I mean,
Same
I
actress
enjoyed. Hmm?
same actress who played Dora in the live action Dora movie, which I think is a very underrated movie. That movie's fantastic, and she played the main character in Alien Romulus. So I was very surprised to see that that's
Cool.
where she came from. But anyways, sorry.
No, no, I thought they did good. I just
Yeah,
if they had just had a couple of scenes for whatever reason, maybe towards the end,
I mean they do.
no, they're in it a lot. They're in it a lot. You know, and again, a movie with just a three of them in it as them three would be freaking fantastic, awesome
Yeah, I just think James Gunn, I feel like
as
after
a whole.
Guardians, he's picked up that that motto of just writing a team movie of like a movie
Yeah,
about a team. You
that's
see,
right.
Guardians of
Just
the Galaxy, Suicide Squad, and now this, and I just feel like he can't.
one dimensional.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I love his style. I have no problem with his style. I love the humor. Besides the fucking harem shit, I feel like that is. I feel like he just put that in as a joke and that it doesn't work. It's just like that's very weird, especially in a movie like this. But I digress. I love his movies. I don't know. I just feel like I have not seen a bad movie of his, and
They're all the
and
same formula. I mean, they're pretty much
yeah,
it's all the same, just different characters and different settings. I mean, that's pretty much it. But again, I don't think he can do a standalone because that's all he knows how to do is just you know group movies.
he did Super. Super, I feel like is a standalone film where it's just about one dude trying to like go like take down this like mob, and that's it.
Never seen it.
Yeah, I thought that Super is a good movie, and I feel like that's, I guess, the only standalone movie that he's done. I mean, you have Slither, which I think is like the first theatrical movie he's done, and it's about a group of people trying to survive against these alien slugs. And then you got Super, which is what I just explained. And then uh, these are the movies that I could just think of right now. I could be missing some, but then Guardians of the Galaxy, group of ragtag people, going throughout the galaxy trying to, make their way, and 1, 2, and 3, and then you got the Suicide Squad, which is basically the same thing as Guardians, except they're criminals and there's a bomb in their head, and if they don't do what they're told, that bomb will get exploded, and whatever. And then I don't know if he's done Creature Commandos. I think he did, but again, a group thing. The only thing that I could think of right now is Peacemaker. That's strictly about Peacemaker. But if it's more of that harem humor that you see in this movie of like you gotta have a whole harem, a whole like secret harem, and I feel like Peacemaker is more so of like those out of pocket jokes that just sometimes don't land all the time.
Right.
And if you have you seen Peacemaker?
I have. I've watched the first season.
Okay, you haven't. Oh yeah, that's all. That's all that they have. What do you think of Peacemaker?
It was good. No, second season came out just recently, right?
No, second season comes out in August.
Or was that a movie that came out?
No, it's they're having a second season,
Okay.
but I think that comes out
I
in
thought the second
August.
season was out already. That's why I started watching the first one.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I mean, I really enjoyed it. Pretty hilarious. And, you know, he's Peacemaker and he doesn't need 5 other people helping him out every time he gets in trouble.
he does though. He has to have Harcourt and Diebeard. I forgot his name. And Vigilante
Yeah.
and Ely.
Yep, but
Also the difference is he doesn't have any morals that much. He's just like, well, I do anything for peace, even if it means I have to kill somebody. And Superman is just like, well, I do anything for peace, and I'm gonna try everything and anything to not have anyone die. And I feel like that is, you say Superman's weakness is kryptonite or whatever, or magic or whatever, but I think Superman's weakness is
it's James Gunn.
is is his humility of being that good person. There's people in trouble, but yet there's nefarious things going on. If I go towards those nefarious things, those people are gonna die. I save those people, the nefarious things are gonna happen, but nobody's gonna die. Like that, I don't know. I jive with that Superman. I feel like Man of Steel Superman would have just been like, well, I'm gonna go handle the danger. Oh, there's people dead, or well, I'm gonna cry about it for a sec, and then I'm gonna go fight the dude again. But
Yeah.
this one, I don't know. He just cares about people, and you could automatically just tell. And that's what I loved about this movie the most. And going back to the Justice Gang, we see Hawkgirl kill the president of Junipar or whatever the country is, and she makes the line of like, well, because the dude's like, well, you're weak and soft like Superman, you're not gonna kill me, and she's like, well, I'm not Superman, and drops him to his death. And
Right.
I that's a good contrast to have of like this team is not along the same lines as Superman, because Superman is better in that sense, in my opinion. But
Yeah. And I think if he had more control of like not being in so much danger and so vulnerable where he needs them all the time, but more where he directs them, hey, I need you guys to go over here and take care of this because I gotta handle this over here. And he's kind of the boss of things, right? I mean, it's a Superman movie, right? So he
yeah,
should be the guy in full control, the guy directing everything, and not Mr. Wonderful,
Mr.
who's
Terrific.
terrific. He is wonderful. Not kind of being the smooth guy of it all and coming up with all the answers for everything.
But that's his character.
But then make that in the Mr. Wonderful movie, where he's terrific, and not the Superman movie where it's supposed to be about Superman being the ultimate hero.
But he was. He was the ultimate hero.
He wouldn't have been without them. That's my problem. He would not have been without them in this movie.
I don't
He'd
know.
be dead in the 5th scene.
I don't know. Maybe, but it didn't happen, so we can't place judgment on it.
I'll watch it again I'll watch it again before football season starts.
I don't know when that. So tomorrow? I don't know.
I don't know, next month.
Okay. So yeah,
I'll wait for it to come
we
out.
saw it in Dolby for the first time, and then I went and saw it in IMAX 3D, and um I would say I preferred the IMAX 3D. That was really cool to see it in
I
IMAX
bet.
3D.
And
Um,
that is a movie that I think would be amazing in 3D because it's just there's so much going on, that it's like, holy shit.
yeah,
Um, so, if you're into that kind of thing.
yeah.
But again,
See it in IMAX or Dolby before Fantastic Four comes out, because once Fantastic Four comes out, they're gonna be owning those IMAX and Dolby theaters.
now,
Because
is that a James Gunn movie too?
no,
Okay.
that's just a Marvel movie. I don't know who the director is, but
Oh, so it's not even DC, it's Marvel. Okay.
yeah,
See, I don't know this stuff.
yeah. Fantastic Four is Marvel, but yeah. So yeah, Guy Gardner, fantastic. I can't wait for the because there's gonna be a Lanterns TV show coming out where it's about the Green Lanterns, because they're basically just space cops, and that's what the Green Lanterns are in the comics. And the Hawkgirl, she was all right. I didn't really care for the screeching that much.
Yeah, that
I
was
don't
a little too much.
I don't really know if she does that in the comics. I'm not really too familiar with Hawkgirl, but
Channeling Lyra Valkyria.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, the screaming was a little too much. Maybe dial a bit down on that. Mr. Terrific stole every scene he was in my opinion. And,
Absolutely.
he
Stole the
was
whole movie.
arguably, yes, I would say, but I don't know, Superman you know my thoughts on Superman at this point, but
And
yeah,
I honestly and again, and I think they showed a lot of the best clips in the previews, which drives me nuts.
really.
Oh, yeah. Like,
I haven't been I didn't watch the previews other than the teaser,
yeah,
and
I
then
stopped watching them because I could tell. It's like, "Oh my god, these are some good clips." This is probably the best part of the movie right here. Like, when he protects a girl, which was a
okay.
cool scene,
Yeah,
but
that
that
was a
was
really cool
overplayed in
scene.
the previews. So, I mean, okay, not a big deal now. And sitting down with Lois and big deal. They
Yeah,
showed so many different segments of that in different previews. It was almost a whole scene that was gone.
that's just any trailers for you though. Like that's why I avoid trailers at all costs. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you have the Terminator.
Today's trailers, they hoard out as much as they can just to get your ticket money, and then you're in there, and then you realize you've already seen half the movie, and it doesn't matter because you've already bought your ticket.
But what's funny about that is you look at Tom Hanks' Castaway, where if you look at like the trailers, they revealed like almost the whole movie in the trailers. But
Well,
it was
I
such a
mean, the whole
successful
movie was him
movie.
on an island. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, but it was such a successful movie um in the box office. So I don't know.
Well, I
I don't
can't
know if
say
there's a
that.
study on whether or not how much you reveal of the movie in the trailers, if it's a successful movie or not. I don't know what makes them do that, but I'm sure they have studies upon studies of that type of statistics. But yeah, what it
I'd get different positions.
yeah, but what did you think of Supergirl at the end?
I was it was cool when I saw her because okay, Supergirl, and she looks hot. I like it. And then she opened her mouth, and it was like Valley Girl, and it was like, what the fuck? And talking about getting drunk, and I was like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
You
so
know?
she talks about how or Clark tells robot number 4, aka Gary, that yeah, that's my cousin, and she goes to planets with that only have red suns so that she can get drunk, because we can't get drunk with our metabolism because of the yellow sun. And I agree with you. I was like, when I first saw Supergirl, I was like, oh no shit, like where the fuck have you been the whole movie? But then it makes sense because she's been on other planets getting trashed, And yeah,
Railed.
you said it, not me. But apparently it leads into a comic book series called Woman of Tomorrow, which is the next movie we're gonna see Supergirl. I think that's the next DC movie we're getting is Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and then after that we're getting Clayface, um, and then we're getting other projects like Swamp Thing, uh, Brave and the Bold, which is Batman and Robin, Justice League, some other stuff. I didn't. I wish I had notes or something, but um, it's all stuff that I'm like, why? It seems weird that of the order that these are coming out. You go from Superman to Supergirl, then Clayface, and then whatever happens after that. It's just a little weird, but I honestly love it because it's stuff that we haven't seen from any other medium other than comics. You know, uh, tell me a movie where we get this plot line with Superman, Justice Gang, all these characters. There's no other movie like it, and
Yeah.
that's what I like about it, about how it feels fresh. But going back to Supergirl, I'm not familiar with the comic series Woman of Tomorrow, so just my thoughts on what on how that made me feel of her appearance in this movie. I thought I agree with you. It was very just like, what the fuck is this? And then she calls Clark a bitch, and it's just like, what the hell is
Which was
this?
fitting because he was acting like a bitch for the whole movie.
He was acting
Well,
like a
Superman
man.
did.
He was acting like a man. I don't understand. You know,
This is probably the bitchiest Superman I've ever seen. High pitched voice. I'm
I
trying.
don't
It's like,
I
come on.
I disagree. 100% disagree. But um, you can have your Zack Snyder Superman. Enjoy it
I want
because
my Richard Donner Superman.
that's you only got 4 movies,
My
and it's
Lester. My Lester Donner Superman.
yeah, that's you get 4 movies. Sorry.
We don't count Superman 4 in any universe.
We are gonna have to do a video on Superman 4 at some point.
I'm never watching that again, so I'm running on for that one.
But yeah, I did not like Supergirl in this movie. I thought her reveal at the end was just like, what the fuck? Like it should have been like an end credits kind of thing, which I mean, I guess in arguably it was, but
Kind of was, yeah. But
but
I don't understand the context. It was just like, is this how she's going to be in the Supergirl movie? Just
I
like a ditzy kind of party girl who, okay, I guess I got to save the world.
and then eventually by the end she becomes Supergirl.
Pregnant.
That'd be crazy. So I haven't read Woman of Tomorrow. I'm thinking about reading it, but after I get caught up on Evolution and Raw, this week, and I don't know. It's written by one of my favorite comic book writers, Tom King. I'm hoping it's good and maybe it'll explain the behavior that we see in the movie. But at the same time, but that's what these movies should be doing, promoting the comic books. You want to know more about why Lex Luthor hates Superman? Read the comic books. You want to know more about who Supergirl is and maybe why she's acting like that? Well, we're making a movie called Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. There's also a comic book called with the same title. Go check it out. And that's why I like how it felt like just a window into a week that Superman was having. It just dropped us in, no origin story, no um, Clark at fucking high school or junior high or whatever the fuck, because it just dropped us in. So before this, I was watching Man of Steel. I had to turn it off because I was just so like disconnected with it. I was so disconnected with it, and you want to talk about too much going on. I
Absolutely.
would recommend you rewatch Man of Steel.
I agree. First half of Man of Steel, once you get to that point, there's a certain point there where you just stop.
Yeah, yeah, and it's the whole Krypton stuff. It's cool to know about that stuff, but when you put it in a Superman movie, I just don't feel it's important. It's that important to know what we know. Krypton exploded. That's all we got to know. I don't have to know, what creatures you had on Krypton or how you dealt with um criminals on Krypton. Like I don't care. It's the planet's gone. We're on Earth now. Let's continue that story. But I digress. I feel like that's just more of a personal preference for me. Um, and even I was watching it up to that talk that Pa Kent had with Clark and Man of Steel, and he's just like, well, maybe you should have let those kids die. It's like, what? Like, yeah, it's Kevin Costner. It's dope that it's Kevin Costner, but Pa Kent saying something like that is just like, I don't know about that. The
Well,
Pa
I mean,
Kent in this Superman and James Gunn Superman definitely would not have said something like that.
but I think Paul Kent, Kevin Costner, is more of a human, right? Well, if you really are that hung up on protecting your identity, then maybe you should let him die. What's it going to be? You got choices to make here, pal. It's a real human thing to say. That's a real, I think, alpha male thing to say. Where I think this Paul Kent was a bit of a beta male. Uh,
I
you know?
harshly disagree. Just because you got,
Oh
got
yeah,
emotions doesn't mean you're a beta male.
uh, you know. But no, I'm not saying that. But I think you gotta still be, you know, I don't know. I think you got to be a human about it. And it's like, well, here are your options. If you don't want people to see who you are, then that was your option. So maybe you should have done that and make them think. No, you're right. You know,
Yeah.
and that's I think where they were going with the Kevin Costner kind of scenario with that is give them something to think about. That was your only other option. Um, but you know, this Pa Kent and Ma Kent,
I
I
love
don't know,
them. I love them. They
a
had
little
that
hokey.
that just farmhouse feel of like, yeah,
Yeah, probably
this is
a
my
southern.
paw, this is my maw. Like it just had that feel of like, yeah, that's them. And I feel like that's how they felt as well in the Christopher Reeve Superman movies as well. So,
Yeah,
you
sure.
know, um,
Yeah. You didn't see much of them in the Superman, uh, aside from finding him, I don't think. Um,
in the first one,
yeah,
yeah, you don't see them in the second one, but you for sure see them in the first one. They're kind of
yeah,
prevalent in there a little bit, but
but, yeah, no, definitely your southern,
your
farm style, realistic,
Kansans.
yeah,
Yeah,
kinda what you think you would find, on a Kansas farm, yeah, for sure.
yeah. Let's
And they were
see.
actually brother and sister.
That's why they got the same last name. Um, um, let's see. I'm trying to think of what other stuff happened in the movie. I mean, we got Metamorpho, the dude who can make kryptonite just out of thin air, because his ability is to just transform or like to manipulate um elements within his own body.
Yeah,
What do you think about
and his ugly kid.
what do you think about him?
Uh, Again, something just thrown in there out of nowhere, like, "What the fuck is this?" Another element that was just like, nah. Okay, so this is going on, that's going on. Now this is okay. It's like exhausting me here, and maybe it's my ADHD. I don't know, but I was just like all over the place. It's like what the fuck, too much. And then you got the ugly little kid. It's like fucking.
Joey,
I ain't rescuing that thing.
why not? But it's Superman. He has to. It's life.
It's not a human.
Doesn't matter. It's life. Neither is a squirrel. He saved the squirrel.
Hey, squirrels are great.
And he saved the dog. A dog was going to get stepped on, but he saved the
Well,
dog.
dogs are very important.
Yeah. But so
And ugly kids.
I love Metamorpho. I didn't have really any complaints about Metamorpho. Um, yeah, I mean, again, it's a Superman movie. We're not going to have any explanation of where Metamorpho came from. We don't need to know where he came from. It'll be explained somewhere else.
Oh, see,
And
that's a James Gunn attitude right there. Oh, we don't need to have an explanation. Just throw it in there.
no, I mean,
Right.
but again, I think those are those characters that you want that your general audience doesn't know about, but the comic book fans know about. The real fans know about these characters. Um,
Here's what I would love to see. My ultimate Superman movie, series of movies.
WB's gonna
Will be
steal this,
super.
by the way, so better be careful.
Who?
WB.
Oh, oh, please do. WWE steals my shit every week. Why not WB?
Well, they couldn't steal it because Seth Rollins got hurt. So
Oh man, don't get me started on that. Poor Seth.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
that changed the whole ending of Money in the Bank or
I'm
not Money in the
sure.
Bank. Um,
Saturday night's main event.
nice event because he was supposed to come out in the next match, which is why the match ended the way that did. Anyway, I'm not getting on that.
We don't have confirmation of that, but
No, that was that's I do. So I would love to see Superman go back to the '60s to fix certain things in the world that were whatever, and that's
like time
how he's
travel back to the 60s.
time travel back to the '60s
Hmm.
or the '70s and interact with like real life events, but also have your Zod, your Ursa, your Non, or your Magenta. Um,
But they would have to
and
have a time machine as well.
he's Superman. He turned the world. Have you not seen Superman movies before where he
I've
could
seen
turn
them.
back the time? No. So, yeah, he did the honor cut where he was able to spin the world and go back to the beginning of the day or whatever it was, and so. But anyway, that helps him do the standalone stuff where those other characters aren't even invented yet or around and stuff like that. And
There are metahumans still though.
of course there is. Jesus
It's the
Christ.
golden age or whatever.
Ignore that.
The
If
it
we're having
was
a guy
the
fly
Justice
around in tights and
Society.
underwear, if we're having a guy fly around in tights and underwear, we can make believe that he's by himself and there's no other fucking superheroes anywhere.
You gotta have Alan Scott's Green Lantern. You gotta have Time or Hour
Michael Scott.
Man. Huh?
Michael Scott. He should
Michael
be a
Scott.
superhero.
He should be. You think he would be Green Lantern?
No, he'd be running the Daily Planet because it's all paper.
Ah, he probably would sell it to the Daily Planet too.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sell you the paper we print our papers on.
Yeah.
I love it. And then Dwight would be the evil guy.
Yeah.
I mean, come
So the
on.
actor of Dwight is in the movie Super.
Oh,
He's the
see?
main
Look at that.
character. Yeah. So
Amazing.
yeah, but
But Dwight is definitely could be a villain and a superhero.
yeah, I can see
As
it. Yeah. Yeah.
he could be that crazy psycho scientist guy. Yeah.
But yeah, so that were you done with your Superman idea?
Yeah. Nobody gives a shit. So go ahead.
I mean I would watch it. Superman going back in time, you know.
Hey, I gave you my storyline with Magento or whatever the fuck his guy's name.
Magenta, Magneto.
Magneto.
Yeah, he texted me forever ago. Curious if
Oh yeah.
I can still go back and find
Oh, I
it.
still have it. I still have it. That's a hell of a storyline. I mean, that's a movie right there. And it's Superman by himself. He didn't have any help. So it wouldn't go over in today's little
It wouldn't.
chaotic world.
Yeah, he would take a lot of heat.
Yeah. How dare you defeat the bad guys by yourself? Taking jobs away from other superheroes.
Yeah, but I don't know. Just trying to think of other moments. Metamorpho. What'd you think of Lois Lane?
I thought she was a good representation of Lois Lane. Didn't like her that she knew how to fly a spaceship all of a sudden.
Well, she
And she
didn't.
was,
Like she almost like killed
yeah,
everybody.
but yeah, but she got the hang of it like that. I mean, don't have me make a joke about female drivers, but
uh,
but overall, I thought she was the right. I thought she fit that role perfectly as far as Lois went. You know, she's got that natural, beautiful look to her, where she didn't need a ton of makeup to look very pretty. And I thought she was very good as that character. Yeah, overall, I thought she nailed it.
I agree. I thought she was pretty good. And I don't remember seeing in any other Superman movie where we see Lois like actually chasing a story and chasing, Lex Luthor selling these weapons to whatever. Now we have to, all right, how is, but there's more to it. Oh, Lex Luthor took Superman. Okay. So now we're going to put that on the page. And then, basically go through all these different stories like that. I mean, they were publishing stories even on the Terrific Car or whatever it was called. Jimmy Olsen was just published a story, showed it to Perry White. He's like, "Looks good, kid. Post it," and then he posts it. Um, I feel like that's something we never really got from previous Superman movies. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, Superman 2, Lois went all the way to France to capture, the story on the arms dealers and the terrorists who were trying to, you know,
But that was it. Other than,
well,
other than
because
the honeymoon hotel that they went to, but like that's not really like an important plot line of the movie, you know.
yeah,
But
well, it was because the elevator then went up and got rid of Zod or broke out Zod and Ursa and on.
yeah,
So
but
it kind of
like
was.
it was just like a one note thing. Like, all right, that's it.
Yeah,
Move on
I
to the
hear you.
next, you know.
Yeah,
But yeah, I thought Lois Lane was great. I thought every character was great except Jor-El and Laura, whatever his mom's biological mom's name is. But yeah, I even like the robots. I like Crypto, like the robots.
yeah,
Um, you know,
yeah.
just
The robots were totally new to me. Again, not being a comic book guy, I don't know if they're in the comic books or not, but
yes, they
I
yeah.
thought they were great as far as being in his fortress of solitude. Uh, you know, uh, and being there to welcome him in every time he's there and help him. Not a big fan of, okay, he got hurt, he needs the sun, strap him in and give him a big jolt of the, you know.
But
I
that's how he heals.
I understand that, but he can heal by himself just by being in the sun. I,
Yeah, but it was
him,
it was
him
faster because
giving
it
up the sun and then going into the sort of fortress of solitude for them to sit him in a chair, open it up so the sun then can come in, which he was already in on the outside.
but
I
it
know they magnify it,
yeah.
to make it more powerful, but if it just takes time, it's just again another element that was like, okay, maybe unnecessary.
I guess.
It made him look weak again, you know.
This Superman was never weak in this movie. I disagree. He was not a weak Superman. He was define weak.
For him,
Just define
always get
weak
his
in
ass
general.
kicked.
In general, define weak.
Well, in weak in general, I mean, it's just not being able to stand up to pretty much anything that comes at you, and not
I
being
don't
able to handle everyday situations. Mentally weak, physically weak. I mean, there's two different things there, but physically weak. He wasn't Superman. He wasn't able to defeat certain things without certain help. You know, to me, that's weak for Superman.
okay. Okay. I don't know.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
if it was Spider-Man, I'd get it because Spider-Man he's not Superman. He doesn't have the power Superman has. If it was Iron Man, he's got a coat of steel on
Well,
him, and that,
Spider-Man's biggest enemies are his writers because his writers just absolutely hate Spider-Man.
and
Um
now Superman. Again, I think it was just I know there was a lot going on, and there was a various amount of elements, but I still think it was lazy writing.
okay.
I think they took the easy way out with everything, and there was maybe one or two things where I'm like, oh, that was cute, or that was good.
Yeah.
But other than that, I was like, oh, okay. There's so many times I just went, oh, for fuck's sake.
What was the biggest one for you that you went that you did
Um,
that?
oh my gosh, I would have to say, oh God, I don't know. I don't know what the biggest one is. I mean, that I can remember. I remember just the rift and oh, here we go with destroying Gotham again. I mean, we saw at the beginning of the movie, you know, where he's in trouble for the destruction
The
of
hammer
Gotham before, right?
the hammer of Boravia or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now there we go, Gotham, and that was just destroyed in Man of Steel, which didn't look good either. I know there was no people here because they all got evacuated. It's just like, why did we have to have that? If everybody's evacuated, what's the fucking big deal then?
Because Luther wanted to have Clark deal with that certain scenario, so he wasn't over in Baravia or Junipar or whatever the country. That's why he opened the rift. It was a
Yeah,
distraction for Superman.
but there's nobody in Gotham, right?
It's
For him to save,
Metropolis.
right? There's nobody in Gotham for him to save. They're all gone to Smallville, right? So what does it matter? Go save the people in Baravia, because
But it's
what does it matter?
not going to stop. It was literally going to go into another city that
They'll
wasn't
just keep
evacuated
evacuating.
because
They had enough time to
they were going to
evacuate
stop it
everybody in
before
Smallville.
it got to that city. That's why they didn't evacuate it.
It's just, again, it's just like eh, not very creative. If
I-
if if it was going to be, hey, I want to stop you from going to Baravia, here's a bunch of people that you have to save. But it wasn't made that way. It was made, oh, it's just going to destroy Gotham, right? Metropolis, right? It's going to destroy
yeah.
Metropolis, right? All the people are gone. There's no talk. There's no talk of, oh well, if it goes through Metropolis, it's going to go to fucking, you know, Brea and Diamond Bar next. Like, there's no talk of that. It's just like, oh my God, it's Metropolis. Like,
Well, there
who
was
gives a shit?
talk. It was going to destroy the whole world if it just kept going. Like there would be no
I don't think
Earth.
that, but I don't think it was made to be in a way that it was like threatening the people, though. You know, especially if you've already evacuated one city, well, evacuate them all, wherever this line is going through. I mean, and then you're able to pull it back and sew it up like a patch on a sweater. It's just ridiculous. Um, but I think there should have been a bigger element to the bigger threat to the people of Metropolis. You know, like
So like the ending of Man of Steel.
no, 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 not in a way where we're destroying the buildings and people are going to die. Not like that. I mean, again, there doesn't have to be destruction. Here's the thought process of current fucking Hollywood is there's got to be destruction and pyro going off everywhere to make it look like, oh my God. No, there doesn't. If you're creative enough, you can make this happen to where, oh shit, these people are in danger, and if you want to save them, you better hurry up because this is going to happen. So now you're spending your time trying to save them, whether it's a sinking ship or a bomb hidden somewhere that never goes off because you get to it in time. There has to be some kind of element to where the people are in danger.
Hmm.
At this point, because everybody evacuated, all I see in danger is buildings and structures. I don't give a shit.
Hmm.
Doesn't mean anything to me. But telling me there's people in danger after that I've never seen before, who have never been in the movie and never even talked about before, doesn't mean anything to me either. There's no emotional. Oh, okay, fuck it, whatever.
What do you mean? What are you talking about? Like what do you mean? Like what people
Well,
not being talked about?
if this goes through Metropolis, it's going to go to other cities and destroy the world.
That was talked
Okay,
about though.
no, that's what I'm saying. But okay, who cares? Because
It's the whole world. There's gonna be no planet.
okay, well, will that include the people over in Baravia or wherever?
Yeah.
So I mean, just go over there and save them anyway. It just it didn't sit with me. It just was like, no, there's too many holes here for me. I want to
Okay.
see the people I want to see the people in danger, not talk about people I've never seen in this movie before that are going to potentially die.
But isn't that what
People
we
all over
saw
the world.
at in Junipar or whatever? The conflict at the end. They were about to just like mow down people, and the
Right,
Justice Gang
right.
showed up.
Exactly. Exactly. That was good.
Yeah.
But I'm saying if you're going to have a distraction in Metropolis over here, have the distraction be actual people, not the threat of buildings that are now evacuated and potentially people that you've never even seen in this movie. For me, there's no emotional feel there. If you had a bunch of school children or something like that, and or I don't know, bunch of college athletes or whatever it is that you kidnap and put in a building with a bomb, and I was like, holy shit. And you see the terror on their face and the pretend now he's torn. It's like, holy shit, okay. I get that. There's an emotional drag there, and for the audience, an emotional drag too, because you're seeing these people, the terror and the fear in their eyes, and that's what draws you in. But for me, it's like it's just a bunch of buildings.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, I can agree
Yeah,
with that. It'd be cooler to see something like that instead of just fucking Transformers and Michael Bay bullshit. But
that's exactly what it reminded me
yeah,
of. It was just like it's exactly the same thing.
yeah, yeah,
And I think that's when I see these movies, all these movies these days, like it's the same Michael Bay shit where it's just that we gotta blow shit up and we gotta have all this pyro, we gotta have everything going on all over the place, and there's no psychology. It's like again, it's like an AEW wrestling show.
yeah. I wonder if the AEW fans are gonna watch this. That'd be interesting. Probably not, but
We'll try and get some in to watch it and let them have their say and let them cuss me out, and that's fine.
yeah, it
I
doesn't
got I
matter.
got a lot of friends in AEW, and they're great talent. It's just it's the production and the creative. It's just you know the production of the show is great, the lighting and stuff like that. But as far as producing matches and creative, anyway, not to get on that subject. We'll talk about that next show.
Yeah, but yeah, I feel like we've covered Superman. I feel like
I think we have.
there's not much we can talk about without treading over the same talking points we've already have
Yep.
spoke of. But yeah, I mean this if you want a DC universe, you got to go out and support Superman, whether you like it or not, I guess, because it just continues from here. And
I did my part. I went and saw it.
yeah, yeah, I'll be seeing it again, and then again, and then again. But uh, yeah, I loved it. I loved it. Maybe the minor complaints, but I just thought it was great. And you're the opposite.
No, again, didn't hate it. Just it's not what I wanted for my Superman movie. Again, I get it. It's subjective. I get the people who love it. Totally get it.
So would you rather
And
watch Man of Steel than this? Rather watch Man of Steel again than seeing this movie
oh my
again?
god,
Because I know you'd rather watch the
Uh,
Reeve movies, but
I'd rather watch the first half of Man of Steel.
I had to turn it off. I was 20 minutes in. I was just like, I can't watch this. Doesn't feel like Superman. Doesn't feel like a Superman movie. I would recommend you watching it again. Like the first 20 minutes.
I do want to watch it again.
Yeah.
I do.
And then I would like to know your thoughts.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
we've said all we had to say about Superman. Let us know in the
Oh, yeah.
comments what you guys thought of, whether you agree with us, disagree with us, or if there's something that we left out from talking about that happened in the movie. Let us know. And yeah, this is the Doyledin podcast. Hope you enjoyed our little review, little powwow talking about Superman. Just don't forget to have a good day, have a good night, whatever your time zone may be. Don't forget to have a good life and stay Doyledin. Take care, my friends.